In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. We must not fail to comprehend its grave implications.
For we are opposed by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration, on intimidation. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, its mistakes are buried, its dissenters are silenced, no expenditure is questioned, no secret is revealed.
Shadowy government with the ability to pursue its own ideas of the national interest, free from all checks and balances, and free from the law itself.
You've got to be a country with a rule of law, and that rule of law has to be followed by both the people and the government for it to work. It can't just work one way and not the other.
James Baker looms very large. He has been White House Chief of Staff, Secretary of the Treasury, Secretary of State.
When I was Secretary of State, I had the view there were too many conflicting intelligence entities, there was too much redundancy in it. Today we have 17 intelligence agencies. They're all, to some extent or another, doing the same job. It's part of the overall problem with our government. It is too big. We have too many people trying to do the same thing, and it creates a lot of confusion and a lot of bureaucratic infighting. When I left the office, I was shocked to find out that we were spending $30 billion a year on intelligence. I hate to think of what we might be spending today. And I think it could be a very healthy thing for a new administration to take a look at that.
The new secret government. Soon it was taking on covert operations, abroad and at home. The struggle required a mentality of permanent war, a perpetual state of emergency. And it meant a vast new apparatus of power that radically transformed our government. Has become a command post for covert operations run by the military, far removed from public view and congressional oversight. The powers claimed by presidents and national security have become the controlling wheel of government, driving everything else. Secrecy then makes it possible for the president to pose as the sole competent judge of what will best protect our security. Secrecy permits the White House to control what others know, and that's power.
I'm sitting here in D.C. with the rare opportunity to speak with someone who served in the innermost circles of the U.S. war machine. Colonel Lawrence Wilkerson is a former U.S. Army Airborne Ranger who flew over 1,000 combat missions in Vietnam. He was National Security Advisor to the Reagan administration and later served as Chief of Staff to Colin Powell during the Bush administration. You're a retired Army officer. You're a Republican. Given your inside experience in the government and military, how would you explain the purpose of U.S. foreign policy?
Today, the purpose of U.S. foreign policy is to support the complex that we've created in the national security state that is fueled, funded, and powered by interminable war and the ramifications thereof. That's a sad commentary on what America has become, but it's a realistic and I think honest appraisal of what America has become.
Today, the U.S. military cost is more than the 11 other biggest militaries on Earth combined. Solution: reduce its costs by half by eliminating incompetence, redundancy, and waste, and it will still be the largest and most lethal defense force on Earth, and greater than China's and Russia's combined. This and the wars cost the citizens trillions each year and are the main cause of the national debt. We must return to the rules in the Constitution concerning the engagement of war. It has been ignored for over 70 years.